We've got a DG-1 ozone generator here that's not working, and wanted to go through it with you and show you some of the things that typically will need repair on these. There may be a seal here that you'll want to just remove that. Take these two screws out and this cover comes loose. Now this particular one, there's some indicators that things got too hot and they were exposed to ozone. All this white powder here, one of the things that just, the fan may have quit, it overheated, and there was some ozone in the air. You can see some other things. The fact that these nuts are all rusty means that it was probably a damp, humid environment, and once that fan quit, it started to corrode. This particular unit is an ASCO DG unit. So we call it a DG-1 on our website. It's got one ozone cell. It won't respond, and it's pretty clear. I think the fuse was burnt out when I opened it up, and it needs the new board. So we've got one screw here left. There's these tubes here hook up to the flow sensor, so those need to be removed. Unplug the power. Unplug this ribbon cable, and there's a heat sensor to replace or to remove. Fan plugs in, and this is for your flow meter. Once those are replaced, and you take the screws out, you can replace the generator board. It is important to get the right type of board. This one here has a white sticker on it, but it's been exposed to so much ozone it's hard to read what it is. But when we order a new board, it has to be one that's programmed for the DG cell. This one does have a little D on this green sticker, meaning that it's suitable for this one. But just double check with us to make sure we got the right one. The serial number on here is important, and we'll be able to get you the right parts. The fan is the other issue. The fan was not working. These fans are not so easy to get out because there's a nut way in the back on the top, and it works better to just take the whole cell out. So I'm going to do that while we're at it here. So to take the cell out, we need to heat up these fittings. We'll just do this one right here. Oh, and there's another problem here. While I was trying to pull that off, you can see that this cracked, and I did notice there was some cracking here. It's just been exposed to ozone too long, and even Kynar over time will eventually crack. So we need to replace that as well. So let's disconnect this on this side. Sometimes it's easiest to, this is the oxygen going in, so typically that does not get brittle like the ozone side can do over time. You want to be a bit gentle with those so that you don't crack that quartz nipple off. Okay, so we've got this side disconnected and this side, and we'll take these 4 screws out of the bottom. Okay, so now the cell is loose. Wiggle that out. Okay, looks like we just have this grounding wire grabbing on yet. And you can see too here, this is evidence that things just got really hot in there, and the fan was not working. Be a little gentle with this. I think we can leave that on there while I get this screw off back up on the top. There's a nut that I need to get loose to get this fan out of here. Okay, here's our fan, and you can see too that there's, that glue gets so hot it drips out and it's totally locked that fan up, but I suspect it got the fan quit first and then things overheated. Zip tie here to remove. So this is a 12 volt, 0.18 amp fan. Replacement here is the identical fan. It comes with a little clip on it. Airflow needs to blow in. This one doesn't tell you which way it blows. About the fact that we've got some glue on there. All right, that's facing in, so we want to mount that one so that this little sticker is facing in. Two threaded studs in there that has to slide onto, and then put the washer, the lock washer, and the nut. Okay, so our fan is in. This here cracked off, so we need to extract the end of that, and it'd probably be best to remove this here first so that we don't end up cracking that off. Okay, we need to work at getting that out or replacing the whole piece. Probably work the best just to get a whole new section of tubing here. Okay, so we are getting some new tubing for this particular unit. This is the original. It is a little bit cloudy. This here is FEP, and typically we use 1/4 inch by 3/8. This is a 1/4 inch by 3/16, so it's a little bit thinner wall, a little bit easier to work with, getting it stretched over the fitting, and we're going to use that instead of this thicker material, or at least try it, see how these things work. So I'm going to heat this up. You don't want to heat it too much, then it just gets difficult to work with, but it just starts to turn clear. And we want to expand this a little bit, and then let's see, add a little bit of soapy water, just a little bit more heat. Okay, that slides over pretty nice. So we had, okay, this is the side that cracked off, so that's where we want to replace it. I'm going to take this one off. It's still a little bit hot yet, and it's been expanded nice. Warm it up just a little bit more. the piece that we want to replace is this one. I'm going to cut that off to length, put a new elbow on. I'll need to grab a new elbow. Okay, so we are replacing this elbow here, and again, to repeat, this has to be Kynar. Any other plastic is going to get brittle really quickly. Even Kynar will get brittle over time, as this one did. So I replaced the tube there. I'm going to stick this, oops, I didn't want to do that. I needed some fire. This is a little bit thinner wall, doesn't need a whole lot of heat. And we're going to want to mount this before we go any further. Okay, now you do have to be careful once we've got that in there that I don't pull too tight on there, because that may snap off that that barb fitting. So what I want to do is I'm going to take this one off. And then I'm going to have to take this whole fitting out of here. Okay, now that I've got that out, need a section just have to make sure we've got this nut over it before we slide this in. And then once again, before we put any push and leave tension on there, it's a good idea to just heat this section up so that it's flexible. And then when you push this in, it will harden again at that point. Don't put too much heat on it so that you put a dimple in there. Could also heat this up here a little bit more. Squeeze that together. Now we're ready to tighten this nut up. Okay, and this is our new board. We'll get that in, show you how to hook that up. The high voltage terminal here goes on this side. It plugs into the high voltage there. line up the holes. Alright, this here is got to hook up to the other side of the generator, so I'm going to, before I tighten this all down, we'll warm this up and slide that over. Be gentle with it. Put one more screw in. Continuing on with this repair here, we've got the board in. We just need to connect a few things here. This is a temperature sensor. It's supposed to turn the board off if it gets too hot. This here is for flow meter display. It's got 3 contacts, so that plugs in over here. And before I do that, I'll get this ribbon cable. It's tucked up here. Ribbon cable is for this display here, and the flow sensor. So for this flow sensor, we have to hook these little tubes up, and it is important. It'll work one way and not the other way. It's not, and typically you see them kind of crisscross. So let's just try that first. And our fan. And it's back here. Okay, we'll give it some power. Nothing. Okay, I think we got a bad power contact here. Plug this power again. There's just lots of corrosion in this particular unit because of the ozone leak. You can see with this bad board, it destroyed that board. This connector was coming apart, so I did take that apart. I suspect that connector's faulty. Just make sure these are tight. You can see all the corrosion in there. I should probably replace those connectors. I may just need to replace this whole wire. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it is lighting up now, although our display is not working. So it's possible that the ozone has got into that as well. We can check just to see if this part of it works. Blow some air into it to trip the flow sensor. Yeah, that turned it out. So it's a matter this display isn't working here yet. So we do need to find the problem with that. It could be just the wire connector, or it could be that the ozone has ruined it. Let's check connections first. I'll try just wiggle first. Still no display. Okay, we're going to get a new display. I'll grab that. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm just borrowing a display from the other one. These displays, unfortunately, are really difficult to get out because the screws come from the back and I have to go back, take out the whole cell. But just to make sure it's not the cord, I suspect this cord has seen a lot of ozone, and you can see the corrosion on there, that might actually be the problem. So I'm going to put some power there. This is a display from a new one. Plug that in, I still don't get a display. So I'm going to get a cord from this other one. Hopefully it's just the cord. New cord, new board. Okay, now we lost contact here. I think we've got some power source contact problems. All right, we're going to see if we can get some new cords for that. Okay, so I got some new power connector wires here. Try those. Notice these contacts here are rather dirty too, corroded from ozone. And we'll plug it in. Still nothing. Okay, let's turn it off. Okay, so we've got some new connection wires here, and I've got a cord from a new cord. Plug that in. Alright, that appears to have solved the problem. So yeah, just a lot of corrosion. Ozone will do that. There's evidence of a lot of ozone leaking in this one. So it's important to make sure we don't have ozone leaking. We'll just double check. Fires right up. Okay, so we're good with this one. We'll clean up some connections, make sure everything's tidied up, and then this one should be good to go.